Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, paralyzed by fear, because you felt someone watching you? Did you know that many people can't shake that feeling because the one lurking in the shadows won't let them wake up again? And what if every whisper in the dark isn't just a sound, but a warning? Today, you'll hear stories that will make your blood run cold. Each one will make you wonder, what if these horrors are real? And what if the next victim is you? Brace yourself as we delve into the deepest fears from which there is no escape.
In a quaint little town, nestled between rolling hills and dense woodlands, lived a woman named Clara. Each morning, she awoke to the soft chirping of birds outside her window, the vibrant hues of dawn spilling into her small bedroom. Clara's routine was as predictable as the rising sun. She brewed her coffee in the kitchen, adorned with floral wallpaper, the delicate patterns almost comforting in their familiarity. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the air as she prepared her breakfast, a simple affair of toast and jam. After her meal, Clara would take a stroll through the nearby park, where children played and laughter echoed against the backdrop of towering oak trees. The park was a sanctuary, its paths lined with benches that invited solitude amidst the chatter. Her days passed in a blur of ordinary tasks, tending to her garden, where blooms flourished under her care, and visiting the local market, where familiar faces greeted her with warm smiles. Yet, there was an oddity that clung to her routine, a sense of being observed, as if the very walls of her home held secrets that were not meant for her ears. In the evenings, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Clara often found herself glancing towards the edge of the town, where the dense forest loomed ominously. It was there, shrouded in mist, that the legends of the Forbidden Bridge lingered like an unwanted thought, tugging at her curiosity with each passing day. As the days turned into weeks, the tranquility of Clara's life began to fracture, revealing unsettling elements that gnawed at the edges of her routine. It started subtly. The familiar sounds of her cozy town began to warp. One morning, as she sipped her coffee, she noticed an eerie silence enveloping the park. The usual chorus of birds had vanished, leaving an oppressive stillness that felt like a weight on her chest. Even the children's laughter seemed muted, as if the joy had been siphoned away. The following day, Clara ventured to the market, but an unsettling sight caught her eye. A vendor's stand, usually bustling with activity, stood abandoned. The wares were untouched, as if time had paused around it. A chill ran down her spine when she overheard whispers from the remaining townsfolk. They spoke of missing pets, of dogs and cats disappearing without a trace. The unsettling sensation of being watched intensified, and Clara found herself glancing over her shoulder more often, her heart racing at the slightest rustle in the underbrush. Later that week, as Clara walked home, she noticed a shadow flitting between the trees on the outskirts of the forest. It was gone before she could blink, but the image lingered, an unsettling reminder of the legends that cloaked the Forbidden Bridge. That night, a series of muffled thuds echoed through her home, rhythmic and persistent. They seemed to resonate from the very walls, as if the house itself was trying to communicate a warning, perhaps urging her to heed the tales of the lost souls bound to that forsaken place. Her once peaceful garden appeared to wilt, flowers drooping as if they too sensed the encroaching dread. Clara felt the grip of a growing darkness, an unseen force pulling at her very essence, urging her to step closer to the edge of the unknown. The town, once a comforting haven, now felt like a labyrinth of whispers and shadows, each corner harboring secrets that clawed at her sanity. One fateful evening, Clara decided to confront her fears, drawn inexplicably towards the forest's edge. The trees loomed like sentinels, their twisted branches beckoning her forward. As she approached the Forbidden Bridge, the air grew heavy with a palpable tension, a foreboding presence that sent shivers racing down her spine. The mist swirled around her ankles, whispering secrets in a language she could scarcely comprehend. With each step, she could feel the weight of countless souls pressing against her, their silent pleas echoing in her mind. It was there, on the threshold of darkness, that she stumbled upon remnants of the past personal belongings scattered across the ground. A child's shoe, a locket, fragments of letters succumbed to decay, as if warning her of the peril that lay ahead. The shadows seemed to stretch and twist, forming a dark tapestry woven with the essence of despair. Clara felt the chilling grip of invisible hands tugging at her, urging her to turn back, but a fierce determination ignited within her. She could hear the faint whispers, a cacophony of voices echoing from the depths of the bridge, each one a fragment of a life once lived, now reduced to a haunting plea for release. As she ventured deeper, the temperature plummeted, her breath forming frosty clouds that dissipated into the darkness. The very air vibrated with a malevolent energy, and Clara's pulse quickened. It was then that she saw them, the spectral figures, translucent and flickering like candle flames, their faces twisted in agony. They floated just beyond her reach, their eyes hollow voids that bore into her soul. In that moment of confrontation, the bridge revealed its true nature. The floorboards beneath Clara trembled violently, shaking with the rage of the Forsaken. A gust of wind swept through, carrying with it the chilling wails of the lost, drowning her in a symphony of fear. With every ounce of strength, Clara fought against the pull of the bridge, the weight of the souls pressing down upon her. "I will not be another lost name," she screamed into the void. The shadows recoiled slightly, as if her defiance had momentarily pierced the veil of darkness, but the spirit surged forward, drawn to her resolve. The climax of her struggle erupted as she summoned the memories of her life, the laughter of friends, the warmth of her home, the beauty of the mundane. Each recollection became a weapon against the encroaching darkness. "I choose to live," she declared defiantly. The fabric of the bridge trembled, the spectral figures swirling around her in a frenzy, their wails morphing into anguished roars. In that moment, Clara understood that her fear was her greatest adversary, and she wielded her memories like a shield. She stepped back, breaking the bridge's hold, and the shadows faltered, their grasp weakening as she retreated. The bridge shuddered violently, an ominous groan resonating through its depths, as if it were howling in protest. Clara turned, racing toward the entrance, the weight of the lost souls lifting as the mist began to dissipate. The battle was won, but the scars of her confrontation would linger, a reminder of the darkness that dwelled just beyond the veil of reality. In the wake of Clara's harrowing confrontation at the Forbidden Bridge, the town experienced a peculiar stillness. The oppressive weight that had hung in the air began to lift, revealing a peculiar sense of calm that settled over the community like a fragile veil. Clara found herself wandering through the familiar streets. The sun shone brighter, casting away the shadows that had once loomed over her life, yet an unsettling chill clung to her skin, a constant reminder of the darkness she had narrowly escaped. The townsfolk emerged from their homes, their faces marked by a collective relief that hung heavy in the air. Conversations resumed, laughter returned to the park, and the market bustled with an energy that felt almost foreign after weeks of silence. Yet, beneath the surface, Clara sensed an undercurrent of unease. It was as if the bridge had merely retreated into the shadows, biding its time, waiting for another moment of weakness to ensnare the unwary. Clara, too, felt the remnants of her encounter gnawing at her consciousness. The spectral figures, their hollow eyes and anguished wails, haunted her thoughts, their presence a lingering echo of the despair she had faced. Each creak of her floorboards, each rustle of leaves outside her window, sent shivers racing down her spine. She often found herself glancing towards the forest, the silhouette of the Forbidden Bridge lingering in her mind like an unfinished symphony, a melody of dread that refused to fade. As night fell, Clara would sit by her window, staring into the depths of the woods, her heart heavy with the knowledge that she had not truly escaped. The specter of the bridge and the souls it claimed still lingered, waiting patiently in the shadows for another soul to wander too close. In the stillness of one particular night, Clara awoke to a sound that chilled her to the bone, the unmistakable creak of her front door swinging open. Heart racing, she lay in bed, straining to listen. The quiet was punctuated by the soft rustling of something moving through her home. It was a sound familiar to her, yet it filled her with an icy fear. The whispers had returned, echoing softly, their mournful tones now mingled with a sinister laughter that seeped into her very soul. She was met with a sight that sent her reeling. A figure stood in the half-light, its form indistinct, yet its eyes glimmered with a knowing malevolence. It was one of the souls she had encountered on the bridge, its visage twisted with despair, but now it was here, in her home.
"Did you think you could escape?"
It whispered.
"You crossed the bridge, but now you belong to us. You cannot unsee what you have seen."
The revelation landed like a heavy stone in her gut. Her confrontation had not severed the connection it had bound her to the very darkness she thought she had vanquished. Clara staggered back, the weight of her reality crashing down upon her. In that moment, Clara knew she would never truly escape the Forbidden Bridge. She was forever marked, a vessel through which the lost souls could now traverse the boundaries of life and death, their haunting presence an unending reminder that the horror had only just begun. As the moon hung high in the sky, cloaked in a veil of mist, the Forbidden Bridge loomed at the edge of the forest, a silent witness to the unfolding legacy of terror. Eternally poised to ensnare the unwary, a haunting reminder that some horrors never truly fade, they merely lie in wait, ready to claim the next unsuspecting heart.